Oh.
Good color.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of PMP's Den of Antiquities. Today, we're going to be talking about Tales of the Jedi. Man, I just want to start off by saying, like, Dave Filoni just knows Star Wars, dude. Like, you can just tell he studied under George and, like, knows what he's doing. Like, the little attention to detail, it's just, like, crazy. But I want to hear what you guys thought of it.
Not everyone at once.
Yeah,
I was like, don't be
we'll
shy.
go-
Don't be shy.
Yeah,
Please,
we'll go that way. We can do that.
I've been a fan of Dave Filoni before I even know who he was. I mean, growing up watching the Tartakovsky Clone Wars and Avatar, seeing all that on TV. I mean, this is some good stuff. And then to find out the name of the creator behind it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I can idolize it. I can direct all that positivity for this show towards that person. It's disheartening to see people like Dave Filoni haters, like a mob kind of mindset effort. They're like, everything's Dave Filoni. I don't want to see Ahsoka and anything. And it's no, dude. You wait until you see Tales of the Jedi. This is like Dooku stuff we need. It's some pretty good Ahsoka stuff too. Not gonna lie.
I think there's also like the reason why I think Dave Filoni sometimes might get some heat too is I think there's like, you know how there's like different ends of the spectrum as far as Star Wars, and I think like when you go to like one end of the spectrum, there's like people who are like Dave Filoni's God. Anything else that is not produced by Dave Filoni is trash. You know, like they're like super extreme. And then you have the people in the middle that's like, dude, he literally is like the apprentice of George Lucas. You know, like there is other good Star Wars besides the stuff that he creates, but like he creates like really good Star Wars because he knows his stuff, you know? So,
sorry to cut you off, man.
No, go ahead.
Count Dooku, I mean, he's my all-time favorite, like, Sith Lord in the Star Wars universe. And to finally get some, like, you know, some canon content of his, like, time as a Jedi, it was just so rewarding. And I re-listened to Dooku Lost, Dooku Jedi.
I need
Lost.
to read that. I need to read it so much.
It's so good, man. And I reread that the day before I watched all the episodes, and oh my gosh, dude, it was so rewarding to finally like see that on the screen. And and Dave Filoni, he always does a great job with all of his stuff, with Clone Wars and then The Mandalorian, and also the little the Ahsoka episodes too were pretty solid. I really enjoyed them. I think my favorite out of her episodes is probably her training with
Yep.
Clone Wars.
Episode 5, episode 5. That was my favorite Ahsoka of that. Like that.
When we were watching, we had the watch party, and we were watching that. I could just like hear all the armor makers and like clone guys who like study armor religiously just screaming because like every time there's a new TV show or something like that, they change like the clone armor, like the shoulders were different and all that stuff. I could just hear them like
the
screaming.
undersuit was more live action.
Yeah. Which I liked it. I thought it was cool. But so that's one thing I was going to ask is what was if you guys had to pick one episode throughout the whole thing, we can just go through like everybody. What was your favorite episode?
4.
That was the Sith Lord, right?
Finale.
Yeah. Dude, that one's tough. That one's tough to beat, man. That was
I think I'm gonna go with that too. I mean, you know, having like everything in that, like Qui-Gon, Dooku's, the intertwining with episode 1 is just too perfect.
Oh yeah.
Man, I hate picking favorites, but I'm gonna have to double with that because twice the pride, double fault. No, you get to hear Liam Neeson, who automatically that dude knows how to punch on your heart, where you have like onion ninjas that come out of attack your eyes and your eyes leak. But not just that, but you got Ian McDermott return for the Emperor.
I know, dude. That was so cool.
unexpected. Yeah.
I can't believe they got him. I guarantee you, Christopher Lee, if he was still alive, would have come back and voiced Count as well if he was still alive.
Oh yeah.
I love the whole episode. Not like just, of course, obviously, the voice actors is just, like, it blows my mind because everything like that. But like, also Bryce Dallas Howard, I didn't know did Yaddle until like the day.
Yeah.
And
was
then I was
she
like,
Yaddle
what?
in the Clone Wars or the Star Wars Lego game too as well?
I don't think so, but I think she definitely
tried.
tried to mimic that voice.
Because that sounds like spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I love that whole thing. I love it's like over here, just like the Dooku Jedi Lost and then Master and Apprentice. So seeing Dooku's way of how he goes from, Jedi and how it echoes Qui-Gon and everything to, at the very end, Sith Lord is just a masterpiece. And I love the art, how they framed it, the light and the dark of who's standing where who leaves where when certain stuff happens. So just, yes. And Dave Filoni can do no wrong in my eyes. I've been watching him since The Simpsons.
He was on The Simpsons?
That's where he got to start.
Yo, what? I
Really?
didn't know that.
Wow.
I thought it was Avatar, but dang, that's crazy.
Oh, another good show.
So
yeah,
I gotta.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna say episode 2.
That was your favorite?
It's
Which one's
my
that one?
favorite. It's Dooku.
Young
It's
Qui-Gon.
when, it's when we see Dooku and young Qui-Gon.
The first two.
Oh, dude, that one's great, man. His
I mean,
fluidness.
it's just like
Hey, what's up, Nick?
it's
Hey,
like
man.
it's like we Dooku as a Jedi and like his whole mindset, because Jedis are like puppets for the Senate, but like to actually like dive in and to see what Dooku actually like stood for, like he like, no, we stand for the people of the Republic. Like that was just like, it was like, man, like Dooku was just like he was generally like a good person.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the council and then like the Senate just the whole politics in general just completely turned his viewpoints to go to the dark. It makes it ever so tragic.
It's why Qui-Gon also, had the same mindset under his tutelage. He didn't want a spot on the Jedi Council. He didn't believe in the politics or anything like that. So it's funny how the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, right? And also how young Qui-Gon is voiced by Liam's son.
Yeah.
That's just icing on the cake,
No, I think Luke would have gotten along with both Qui-Gon and Count Dooku, because I feel like Luke has kind of some of the similar vibes of both of them, because like I feel like the one trait that they all share is like most Jedi are taught to like suppress a lot of their emotions, right? They're like, hey, like that's like it's gonna lead to the dark side. That's gonna lead to the dark side. And I think one thing that like Dooku is like, it's like because he even tells Mace Windu, he's like it's inspiring that you follow the rules, and it's also like super maddening because what he's trying to say is, I feel like Dooku is like, I think you need to acknowledge your emotions, but not acknowledge them so much that it leads you down the wrong path. And I think that's like what he was trying to tell the Jedi, but the Jedi wouldn't like the council and stuff like that would not listen to Dooku at all.
That was almost his exact quote as well. That's what Dooku told Mace aboard the ship. He's like, your order is inspiring, and I think was it maddening too? Like,
maddening,
it was almost identical. Yeah, so he told it right to the head guy's face.
Are admirable, but at times maddening.
Yeah.
I also like that Yaddle stepped down from the council. Like we get that little like she was like, hey, I agree with you. Like it took me this long to get to that point, but like I and that's why she's not there at like the ceremony and all that. So, well, she's dead, but like that's why she's not there. She's her council, because you always wonder, like at least I did as a kid. I was like, you kind of like see the Jedi like shift, like each time you see like the council in a different movie, like they're like some are there, some aren't there, and it's kind of cool to see like where everybody. I want to see where Yara Poof went, man. Right now, my headcanon is he's a cook on the Death Star. So
robot chicken, yeah. Serving biscuits to the Emperor, hell yeah.
It was
Corey
also
Burton,
cool.
though, man. Corey Burton delivered. I felt the presence of Christopher Lee through his voice
Oh,
and the
man.
way the music that was being played
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
hits you in
Revenge
the
of the Sith
boom.
vibes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It was also cool when Dooku said to Qui-Gon, you're a much wiser man than I.
Yeah.
And it just
And he says that
just,
to Obi-Wan too. Qui-Gon says it to Obi-Wan in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
it's just poetry, man. It rhymes.
it rhymes.
Heck yeah.
Like poetry, it rhymes.
And
Yes.
and it's also like so heartbreaking that like I mean Dooku at that point when Qui-Gon was still around, I feel like Qui-Gon was really like what like held Dooku or binded him to the light. He was like that little boy that he took under his wing and like saw all of his own good traits in Qui-Gon. I really think like Qui-Gon was like the perfect version of Dooku in that sense of like just the ideal Jedi. And like him also like telling like Qui-Gon like yeah and like Obi-Wan how is he holding up, like I would like to meet him someday, and it's like you will but no come on.
I 100% agree with you because Qui-Gon
Yeah,
being the last straw that broke the camel's back that turned him to the dark side. When I saw him standing with his arms like that looking at the tree like I used to take him here as a boy.
Yeah,
That was like the eerie, sad moment that reflected that scene of Anakin crying in the temple chamber, at the top. Like, this is the turning point. Sadness, then boom, Sith Lord. Too far gone. You can't do anything. Perfect.
Yeah, it's the
Strong
thing about
emotions.
that too was and again it's and even like Plagueis bleeding into this like the novel and everything or the audiobook whichever preference. Dooku actually says to Ego Damask, who spoilers is Darth Plagueis.
How dare you?
Right. At one point he says, if another Jedi dies in this meaningless war, I will turn in, and everything, and I truly believe that he loved Qui-Gon like a son. I mean, just certain ways and how that echoes into future apprentices and stuff like that. It broke my heart, man. Especially him standing at that tree and him doing that monologue of I used to bring Qui-Gon here. Oh God, that is
It's
and the depth of it, like with Qui-Gon being born in Coruscant and then him saying like like the life of the tree fascinated him. It's like this is so brutal. Like you could just feel the pain that he's going through, and I think that's why like overall, I mean with the rating obviously, yes, I would still say the last Dooku episode, but overall I really think the arc with Dooku was just perfect. Like I think the stages of his like life in that sense were perfectly chosen, and I really think they did a great job at like just making sense of the fact that Dooku was a Jedi. I feel like in like episode 2, I mean as a kid, me personally, I think I never even grasped really that Dooku was a Jedi. It was like said and I heard it, but like just didn't really make any sense. And then like sort of now, and with obviously having read other stuff, like sort of getting the backstory of like him just seeing the corruption of the Senate, of the galaxy, the Republic overall, and that kind of driving him more and more into making his own decisions and, going into those niche places like searching counsel with Palpatine. It is really well done and definitely where this season shines for sure.
100%.
Him also deleting the Camino data files was also.
I was just gonna say this is like this tale stuff. It being short, it's still like very important stuff that the casual fan that has only seen like movies 1 through 6 or 1 through 9 or whatever have you, who's only seen the movies, never any other media. This still seamlessly ties right into the films. The whole like the gossip going around the Jedi Temple with Jocasta telling Dooku, "Oh yeah, your Padawan encountered a Sith on Tatooine." It's Darth Maul, dude. Yep. Next scene, boom, he's dead. Okay, so, and we were saying during the watch party, we gotta pause it right here and then come back to the show, or like kind of. But no, dude, this is like the deletion of the Camino files. It all adds to Dooku's downfall too. He's like, I betrayed the Republic. at all. You know,
I know that
truly gone.
those episodes really, I think, carry a lot of weight in episode 2 when Dooku is talking to Obi-Wan. Like when I watched that scene the first time, I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, it's sad Qui-Gon passed. And, like, you didn't really understand like the emotional connection Dooku had to Qui-Gon because, like, basically you were just like, okay, Dooku trained Qui-Gon, and that's kind of all you got, you know. But now going back and like, it's crazy that like that's the first time that Dooku gets to meet Obi-Wan, and I feel like Obi-Wan doesn't feel like Dooku is being sincere. I think he's trying to be a trickster, but Dooku, I feel like, is really trying to open up and give Obi-Wan a chance for Qui-Gon's sake.
What if I told you that the Senate is now under the control of a Sith Lord? What?
Or better yet, when he says, "I could use Qui-Gon's help." Right
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think you really nailed it because I think also the audience, that's the thing. Also the audience, at least on the first time watching, was also think on the side of Obi-Wan with like, he's not being sincere. He just, wants to fish him into like joining the Sith. But yeah, having like more knowledge about it, like, and that's the great thing about Star Wars in general. I feel like there are so many moments where things like these happen where when understanding one character, an entire scene and the meaning of the scene changes completely.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Everything we know with how Anakin is viewed to Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan is like, "Oh, you're my pupil. You're my brother, Anakin. You're my brother." He even tells him multiple times, "You're my brother. This weapon is your life," and all that stuff. Obi-Wan was the brother figure. Qui-Gon was the father figure. So if Obi-Wan would have listened, that's that bridging point between Sith equal, red lightsaber equals bad guy. He could have been just as good as Qui-Gon, and they actually could have overthrown Palpatine, changing the entire thing. That would be an awesome what if. What if Obi-Wan decided to side with Dooku on Geonosis?
Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah, right. We need to all collab and come together and make a video about it. No, but like, man, this is. I guess like I didn't realize how much I missed like Jedi and lightsabers and battles until this show came out. Like, oh man, we got
Brian.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, bud.
Oh my gosh, great! Get out of here. Leave.
Great.
That's actually the first. That's actually the first time I've heard that. I've never heard of a gray Sith.
A gray Sith.
Because it doesn't.
He's ruffling your feathers.
It's that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it was so brutal.
But so we talked a lot about Dooku's arc. What did you guys think about Ahsoka's arc as a whole? Because personally, like, I really like Ahsoka is like in my top 5. Like, I really enjoy her as a character. I think they could have hit different beats though. Like the first episode, while I think that's important, showing like the life and death and like Jedis need to learn this sort of stuff. I think it would have been much more impactful if you would have started with the training session, or even if you wouldn't have started with the training session. And like, I find what's interesting about her is when she leaves the order, like when she like walks down the hall, like I feel like they could have added, like there's something there that they could have gone with that would have played very well. I think also with Dooku kind of leaving the order. So they would have hit more similar beats. Like I said, like the first episode isn't bad. Like I really love the first episode. And funny enough, too, the chick that plays Iden Versio and the Battlefront
campaign,
she voices. I want to believe she either voices the
she voices the mother,
mom,
doesn't she?
Yeah, the mom or Pav T. Was that the mom? If I believe,
sounds like it.
I think she voices the mom, which I was like, that's cool that they're bringing other people back. My hatred for Grey Jedi has intensified. Nice.
He loves them. Don't listen to him. He loves them. No, but yeah, all these little like very important aspects. And like I said, I say the Ahsoka arc is solid. It wasn't my favorite stuff, but it was still very good. And it's very important seeing the birth of her and like how her mom was. Her mom almost had an uncanny appearance.
Right.
I think how she would grow up.
I think I was a bit upset about some of the second Ahsoka episode. Perfect. I absolutely loved it. the "Sorry, Commander" by Jesse just absolutely killed me. It's
God,
like,
why'd you have to bring it up again?
I know, and then you see at the end, Jesse's like in front,
Yeah,
like waiting
like,
on
we
the
got yeah, we got the Jedi and the Commander. No.
The fact that the Clone Wars was so new that when the 501st was doing that training sequence in the circle like Kukan Center, they didn't have division markings. Like they were still Vader's fist, the 501st, but they didn't have the blue. Actual
that was early
coloring.
Clone Wars days. Yeah.
Like
even
Jesse.
He doesn't even have that symbol on his head.
Right, because in the where Grievous crashes with his pod, Jesse, where he has his first time appearance. He and Hardcase and Kix already got their camo, so this is like before their first appearance in Clone Wars, which is pretty nuts too. But
also,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Also, can we just take the time to appreciate that we once again got to see Space Jesus in clone armor?
Oh, yo!
I mean, I legit was fangirling because, like, I don't know, there's something about Obi-Wan just with the long hair that just like it just does something to me. And then
the last time,
clone armor,
the last time we seen mullet Obi-Wan with clone armor, that specific combo was him on the speeder bike fighting Dirge. That's how old that goes.
Yeah.
So I just got done crying from episode 4, and then all of a sudden I'm cheering. I'm like, what's going on with my emotions?
Well, they also throw a lot of Jedi at you in that scene. Like they're
yes.
there's like
Tsunubi.
So Kanan Jarrus, and then what is his name? The Zabrak with the hair. He gets like instantly eaten by Palpatine. He's cough. That's
no,
that's
Agent
Kolar.
And then you see oh man, I'm so bad with names, especially when I do like it's like when I hop on, like I know all the names, and then when I hop on like YouTube or something like that, like it's just like
then it's like stress. I need to know the name.
What's the guy? He's from the 2003 Clone Wars. He has the awesome helmet with the horns, and he also has. You see him.
The board.
Dude, super epic. We need more of him. But it's so cool that they add, like, even though you see them like they're like kind of like background characters, kind of like just in like the movies. It's cool to see them kind of pop back up and stuff like that.
Even at I forget her name, but the Jedi that died that they were talking about, they did the proper burial. They had him in the background there too. I saw Plo Koon, and I saw it Evan Peel, the short dude with the scar on his eye. I thought I saw him walking in the hallway somewhere.
I think so.
Okay, yeah. Gianni Mundi with the cloak was pretty funny.
There you go. Yeah, I was about to say that.
I don't think when they buried Obi-Wan in Clone Wars. Well, he didn't die, but I don't think he had a cloak because I think I would have remembered that looking pretty funny.
Well, that's what we were talking about during the watch party too, because we were saying like, why didn't
I got that now.
What was that? How exactly did we go the conversation? Because we were talking about proper burials, like only members, or my theory was only members on the council get like a proper burial with like the yellow light and incinerator. That's why Qui-Gon, he just gets stabbed and he bleeds out, and they burn him, because they don't give him that burial. We didn't have a member a seat on the council.
But Obi-Wan wasn't a member of the council at that point.
No, he was. He was.
I thought he
was a member on the council. He was a member on the council.
Yeah, he was. I found this out because I went to the source and everything. I went to the lore master himself and asked. And
oh boy.
So yeah, that's why I was just like, I'm gonna So the reason that they do that, if you go back and look, the reason Obi-Wan did that, well, one, for his death, is of course Anakin couldn't know what could go wrong. That has to happen for that. The reason for her, we didn't fully see her, the Jedi who died in the Dooku arc. We didn't fully see her body. So it's basically like a closed casket scenario.
We only saw like her collar.
The reason that Qui-Gon was cremated was that someone was right. I can't remember who said it. It was they weren't on the council, but they stood away from everything, and they generally had like a different thing. So that echoes whenever Anakin returns, and he gets the thing of like the chosen one of that. So that's why that happens. The reason that they do that is so nobody wants to bring up emotions, because you're supposed to suppress those there. If you see a Jedi with a burnt hole through their chest or anything like that, that's, anger, fear,
Rage, yeah.
the whole thing. So that was bothering me too. So I was like, I'm going to ask this.
Yeah.
Shoot, Anakin didn't even see that all the way, and he was like,
yeah. I think he didn't even need to see it, yeah. But I also just remembered in the arc where the temple gets bombed, like where the bomb goes off in the temple, like then they also show the ceremony for normal Jedi. So I think it's just generally, so it doesn't have to do with the.
Yeah, my bad. I completely went away from like everything from like the Ahsoka. I'm so sorry.
No, dude, that's what these podcasts are for, man. I love when we go down these little rabbit holes and just talk about this stuff. It shows you that we care about this stuff so much that we just like kind of, we dive into other things. But man, that last Ahsoka episode I thought was pretty interesting as well. Man, I don't know. Star Wars is just like, they love making awesome looking characters, and then just like you don't get anything from them. Luckily, we got Maul in like another arc with Maul in the Clone Wars, where you got like this like pterodactyl skull looking dude,
like Doctor,
sounding all cool and stuff like that. But honestly, though, I really like. Who just?
He's another basement dweller.
Nice. What's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. But yeah, just I don't know what it is. Like I really like that how they show like just like especially like in Kenobi too, right? Like when Reva is fighting Darth Vader, he just like sweeps her just because like they're not even on the same plane. And I like that they do that in Ahsoka too, where like the Inquisitor thinks he's like a match for Ahsoka, and like literally it's done like that because like they're not even on the same like playing field. They're not even in the same universe. She just like instantly like done.
Yeah, I mean, she did kind of the same move she did on the seventh. Was it the Seventh Sister?
Yeah, where she grabs it.
Yeah, but like just instead of just making it shut, I mean, she just ignited it and give it a little spin.
Charlie brings up a good reference to Old Wounds, because it was two opposing forces waiting to make a move. The first move was one made by a person with a double-bladed lightsaber, and it was like 3 or 4 strikes, the battle was over.
Yeah, Kurosawa influenced. I couldn't help it when I was watching that. Because her hands go like this. Yeah, right.
Boys at it again.
Hands go closed at first, and then starts to get closer, let go, and then it shows her feet change, and then you're like, oh, and then of course he makes the fatal mistake and everything like that, the hubris of a dark side user and everything, and that just it costs him his head. And I love the backdrop for it and everything, like the fire in the back and everything like that, this chaos, and the Chosen One's apprentice comes in.
What that reminded me of with the background of fire? That was kind of like the one Old Republic cinematic where the lady hunts down her daughter that turned to the dark side, and she ignites the gasoline, and it's like
yeah.
She grabs the lightsaber pike and close to her face.
Oh, the good old Republic cinematics. I love it.
Oh, they're the best. Like literally, I need that version of Star Wars. I don't know if it's in Vision. I don't know if it's in a whole nother animated thing. We needed animated Star Wars. That's that. I want that type of combat and then some type of animated, because I think live action, like, as much as I would love that, I think that'd be like, it would just cost them so much money. I don't think they would do it. But animation, let's go.
The Force Unleashed had a lot of those for like promotion, but I don't think it had the same like storyline that the Old Republic.
No, I mean those were literal like the Free arc with like Satele like beginning with the duel against Malgus, then the middle with like the Republic troopers jumping down, and it's too good.
Oh yeah,
and not Tales of the Jedi.
So what would you guys? I don't know if they plan. Hopefully they plan on doing more. What would you guys like to see in a season 2 if they were to release a Tales of the Jedi season 2.
I would like to see them do, because it was actually funny because like me and my friend yesterday we were watching Tales of the Jedi again for like the 6th time.
Hey, no shame, man, dude. I've been doing the same thing. No shame at all.
But no, I would like to see them use a lot of the original trilogy characters. Like we have so many like even like adapt some of the Marvel comics. Like it would be cool if we can see a lot like an animated Sergeant Creel go up against like a Luke Skywalker, but he's not trained. I mean, that would be awesome to see. But yeah, more use of the original trilogy characters.
The closest we got to New Jedi Order, Luke, on live action, was in The Mandalorian season 2 when they're building his temple. And I was like, dude, my brain immediately clicked to the Yuzang Vong and everything to do. I would totally be down for anything they do in that era, Legacy and anything like that. But we were talking about it at the watch party afterwards, like Tales of the Sith.
Yeah, that was actually one of my next things we're going to talk about as Tales of the Sith.
Yeah, and that transpired into a thought I had. It would be cool to just show the Kalish backstory of Grievous, like show Dooku shooting him down.
Yeah.
Show that the whole comic sequence of him in the chair, and then he's like, "I hate being a droid."
Oh, JT, by the way, your shuttle crash is in 2 days. Couldn't schedule it earlier.
No, but that'd be cool for
that'd be really cool.
Normal people to see, like, oh, this is Grievous. I mean, as much as you get of him as an awesome, probably one of the best like villain introductions in history into the Clone Wars, stomping, killing like 5 Jedi and chase him down, capturing Palpatine, actually doing stuff. Force grab his chest cavity, give him the cough, and you see him right in the movie with the same thing. So that'd be cool for I don't know, like my parents, just like casual fans, to see, oh, that's like his origin. And that's what I appreciated about Tales of the Jedi, showing like Dooku's origins. Now my mom can watch and be like, so that's where Christopher Lee, that's why he was evil, or that's where he came from. It's important stuff, man.
You know what I would like to, like, they could either do that in the Grievous one is, man, if they did, I want Sons of Dathomir. I'm so sad that we did not get the Sons of Dathomir. Like, I just need you do a 3 arc of the Sons of Dathomir, and you could even do it with, because Grievous is in that, you could do that for one of his like last ones, like start off with him being made, and then that's like one of the final ones or something like that. But
a lot of the unfinished Clone Wars arcs, like for instance, give us that unfinished Bounty Hunter arc with Boba and all that other stuff.
Tales of the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah.
I think the Sons of Dathomir one has to be the most messy one when it comes down to it, and that's like my only gripe, because you see it end off. Palpatine kills Savage, he's zapping Maul, and then you go right to season 7. Maul's on Mandalore. I mean, you got to see that bridge. You got to see how Gar Saxon broke him out of prison. It's cool stuff too.
Especially when Palpatine is like, "Oh, I have other uses for you." Like, come on, you can't just like leave that. Come on.
Also, Dark Disciple too, man.
Ventress. Don't know the end of her. Yep.
Dude, I love Ventress' story, man. That her arc from being a Sith to a bounty hunter is like the coolest thing. Like, she had one of the coolest arcs in my life.
I wish I had my helmet here. I'd put it on. I have her bounty hunter. The yellow one with the stencils and all that.
Yeah, you need to post that in the Discord later, because I want to see that. That's cool. I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Yeah, but my canon Death for Ventress is part of the original Clone Wars, where he's like at the top of Yavin.
That one's cool, man. I just really love her being a bounty hunter. Like, that's just super cool. Like, I'm like torn, because that temple like area fighting is like a sick, but her being a bounty hunter is super cool too. For Tales of the Bounty Hunter though, that would be cool to see. I know they explore it in the comics, but like how Jango got his Mandalorian armor, because he's not a Mandalorian. I think that would also be like super cool to see, like kind of like an arc of how he does that.
Yeah,
maybe it depends on what story you're going with, because I mean, what was a Jango was a Mandalorian. Just Boba isn't technically.
Did I say Boba or did I say Jango?
You said Jango.
Jango. Okay, you meant
I thought-
Boba. Okay.
No, sorry, I did. I meant Django, but I thought he wasn't a Mandalorian. I
No,
thought
Django was a
So
Mandalorian.
they explained that in Mandalorian season 2 because Din obviously was like mad that Boba had his armor, but then Boba actually showed him like
The chain
record,
code
like the chain code, and
with Jaster Muriel also. Because I mean that's the thing. Like Django got it from Jaster, who saved him when the Death Watch, or essentially the Death Watch were like killing his parents. And from that point on, he was part of. And I mean, if you go, I mean, that's obviously all like gray area. It's not denied, but it's also not canon technically.
yeah.
But if you go by that, like Open Seasons is the comic.
4
season.
issues. Yeah.
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 If you go by that, he would have been the true leader of Mandalore if you're being technical. So
By the way, that comic book, you want to buy the 4 issues of Open Seasons? It's like $350.
yeah, it's
It's
I had to
so
get the
pricey.
trade because that's just
find a
that's just
PDF
too much.
online or something like that.
yeah,
Or YouTube and
I
read
think
it or
that's
something.
not worth the physical copy.
It's so criminal they made that story Legends because like
yeah, it was really good.
Well, it's
Django killed-
expensive. It's
Yeah.
expensive. The first issue is the first appearance of Darth Tyrannus in comic books.
and
That's what
Django
makes the price expensive.
and Django like kills like 4 Jedi with just using
With his
his
bare hands.
with his bare hands. Like
Yeah,
Dude, that's another thing
For
about
real.
Boba too, is because like in the comic books, there's a lot of comic books where Boba kills like Jedi, like renegade Jedi and stuff like that. He has lightsabers that he's like collected. He kind of like has like a Grievous moment and stuff
I
like
really
that.
love.
It's
I
like,
think Sideshow was it? They had like this Mythos Boba with like also like more of like cloth above his armor.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
also
yeah.
had like these dangling like lightsabers on his
Braids. He had
hilt.
like long braids too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought. Yeah.
what do you
Yeah,
guys what do you guys feel about this? Bard brought up that he thinks Legends content would be better in animation. How do you feel about that?
I've
So,
heard
yes-
that before.
yes
I would
and
not be
no.
opposed to it.
Yeah, yes and no.
I
think-
I mean, oh man, I would like that idea. I mean, not saying that I want to see a animated version of the Thrawn trilogy, but and see Mara Jade, but I'm just
Yeah,
I mean that would be awesome to see. But I mean,
I mean, an Heir to the Empire animated would be pretty sick. I feel like.
That would
Yes.
be pretty.
I would
wizard.
reserve Heir to the Empire for live action. Honestly, I
I
think
mean-
that's the way you could.
I mean,
fix this.
You and me
Ideally.
both, but would they really do? Like, I don't know. That just seems like a lot because they're gonna have to like CGI and deepfake literally every character
Everybody.
besides Thrawn, I guess, right?
Yeah.
'Cause,
It'd
like,
be worth it though. In the end,
I feel like
I completely agree with you. I'm just saying, are
I
they
feel
gonna
like
do
what
it?
could be like a dope live action, like going back to something we named earlier, like the Kalish War and like Grievous live action, like just seeing that render of Grievous at the end where he's like fully cybernetic, like that Revenge of the Sith render of him, seeing that again in high quality.
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
that's right. They only showed that once.
I think yes and no for the animation being like that's where all the Legends content goes because there's a lot of like stuff that really doesn't need to be thrown in there. There's a lot of Han Solo and Chewbacca stories that are just kind of whatever's
Silly.
because they're meant to just be a comic book. You know, they're
Right.
not meant to be this
Oh,
in-depth
dude,
story.
the one where
Yeah.
they crash
And there's
land on.
Darth, but
that-
hey, and then you're gonna
Earth.
love me, Brian. But then there's this Darth Crate stuff that we want to see in animation,
I still need to go back and like, not go back. I still need to read that stuff. I have like no. I mean, I understand Darth Crate, but like I don't really have any back. Legends is like a whole new like range for me.
See, I'm
But,
a Clone Wars nut, so I just think
it's-
it's cool that Darth Crate comes from Sharad had, that lineage of Tusken and
Yeah,
My-
it is pretty cool.
My thing for going back, my 2 cents. Really fast. The Tales of Jedi thing. If season 2, please do it. Is since Kenobi name dropped a certain Jedi, Quinlan Voss, I would love to see what he's either up to in that timeline or going towards the past.
They could
Okay.
even work Dark Disciple into that.
Yes.
that's what TC
So-
was saying. That Darth
Yeah.
Disciple being
So yes and yes.
an animated,
Um,
That would
And
be
Tales of the Sith, I would love, since they did get the original voice actor who did Dooku in the Clone Wars and stuff, and since he's clearly legendary still,
Who's
If
they-
absolutely
if-
killing it. Yeah.
if they could get Ian McDermott again, or even just get Sam Whitwer, hi Sam, is if you could get him, we get to see the one training thing, just one training thing, because we all look. Dooku was regarded as the best duelist. That was like the biggest loss that they had. However, we remember as kids growing up in the theaters and stuff, seeing him become more powerful than any Jedi, even you. Seeing the first time he uses Force lightning and how he gets to that point, whether it be one of those things.
You just named
boy.
an interesting.
Sorry. Go ahead.
You just named an interesting point. Almost forgot, because like with Maul, like, can we talk about how just unmoved Palpatine seemed at the loss of Maul? Like when Count Dooku and him were like, when Dooku was like you've gone too far. You let Maul kill Qui-Gon. Sort of like Qui-Gon would have been way better than Maul, and like. And Palpatine just kind of being like, anyway, like,
yeah.
That's
remorse.
That's because now, like, I mean, if like Palpatine, he's just like the puppet master as always, and now he just took out the biggest force that would go against him, and that was Qui-Gon, and now he has Anakin. That's basically how his mindset is like, is it, because like Dooku's like, oh, like don't you know, like you like Qui-Gon's dead, and Palpatine's just like, look, like, dude, like, we're good.
He's like, you don't even have the full plan, bro.
Like, everything's fine, bro. You don't know the full plan. The plan's already in motion.
Man, you hit a good note on that for me, as well as a nice little mark. I did have to go rewatch stuff like that again, even though it's just still fresh in my mind. I love that Dooku. I mean, I'm sure there was maybe some others. Well, now I think about it, because of his timeline for a Sith Lord. I think Dooku's probably the only one that's kind of, even though it wasn't long, it was long enough, because again, it goes back to, I truly believe Dooku loved Qui-Gon as his son. So when you see him approach Dooku, or Dooku approach Sidious, not that Sidious is Palpatine, that'd be crazy.
He's a nice guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't get it. But once he approaches him, he's like, "You've gone too far," and everything. Everything like that. Like, no one has done that. Like, usually when that happens, it's zippity zap. So I love that, and I love that scene again. Going off of that, this you lost an apprentice, I lost an apprentice, blah blah blah. I'm like, how dare you, and everything like that. So just
Well, he was even in the conversations they were having in episode 4. I mean, he says, "But I have done everything you asked." Yeah. And he says, "Well, I'm going to ask you more.
I'm going to ask more.
I'm going to ask you more."
It's like only the beginning.
Like, dude, you didn't read the fine print. Like,
you want to see the contract again?
You dumbass, battery's not included. Okay.
What else would you guys like to see for a Tales of the Sith? I think honestly, like getting like a Darth Bane, creating like the Rule of 2 would be sick. What else would y'all like to see? I know we kind of talked about Son of Dathomir. We've talked about seeing like more Count Dooku and maybe Plagueis and stuff like that. Is there any other ones you guys would like to see from Tales of the Sith?
Related to Son of Dathomir, I think the comics and EU is trying so hard to show the origins of Maul, but they just can't quite put it out there in like the mainstream media, like viewable wise. They have it kind of tied to books and comics. I want to see some Maul breathing in ashes of dead Sith to, fuel.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool too, because his armor that he gets is pretty sick.
The Orbalisk armor, yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Bane, he's like seeing him drop from the ceiling. He's like, ah!
Honestly, Scion would be pretty cool too, because he like holds himself together like with the Force, like something with that. Or even I know we get a lot from the Old Republic games, but a Darth Malgus. Yes, thank you. I was like, I am blanking on his name, but I think he's a really cool character too. Like,
wait a minute. How about Vader bleeding his crystal?
Oh
That
man.
would be cool. That would be cool.
Like the process of him doing that and him actually killing the Jedi to get his Jedi.
Yeah, we definitely need more crystal bleeds. Like that's
Yes.
like,
I
Also,
think out
good
of
point,
all of the
Tails.
Vader stuff, all of the comic books and stuff that they're doing, the ongoing books and all that, they're missing the one thing people want, and that's Vader slaughtering a crap ton of Jedi. They want to see him
Dead
go to
men.
town.
Yes.
We don't want to see Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Strike, what were you gonna say?
Bleeding the crystals is actually a good point because I remembered I wanted to talk about that point, which I think is like a missed opportunity in the last Ahsoka episode. Is Ahsoka healing the crystals of the Inquisitor and getting her
Ooh.
white lightsabers? I think it's a
That would
big
be
missed
cool.
opportunity. Besides the fact that it's like making the Ahsoka novel on canon, which I know firsthand that
Dude.
some people. I haven't read it, but my girlfriend has read it and she's upset. So I'm gonna take her word for it.
People who like really into like that's why I've been so like I don't really want to read like the novels. Like one, I'm not a big fan of reading, but that's another story.
Yeah.
And so, but novel fans, like I see it on Twitter all the time. They get so heated anytime Dave creates something because Dave does not give a shit.
Yeah, I
about
mean with
novels.
Bad Batch, I mean they also like. I mean I haven't read either, but yeah, I mean with Bad Batch they also like retconned that Kanan Jarrus comic with
Yeah,
like,
that
their
rubbed me the
66.
wrong way.
Well, I heard a cool theory about that.
I mean, Styles and like the whole squad. I mean, not gonna lie, they had way cooler design than what they ended up having. Way
Yeah.
cooler and way cooler way of it going down. But anyway,
Well, I heard somebody say like the theory behind that is like the novelization is like how like drunk Kanan remembered it. And then the Clone Wars is how it actually happened, or it might have been like vice versa. But like Kanan goes into like this like drunk like fender bender thing for like a couple of years before he like meets up with Hera and all that stuff. And like somebody explained that like one of them is how he remembers it after being Swifty for years. And one's actually how it happens.
I don't put it past that at all because remember when we first find the clones and rebels and everything, and he starts talking about stuff like that, and then Rex comes in and is like, I didn't turn against my Jedi, and then season 7 is kind of
right?
on.
Yeah, like Rex, don't you remember?
Wait,
are you sure about that?
I'm sure about that.
Hold on, Jedi that turned against his own militia, drunk at one point, becomes blind at one point.
Ron Kodak,
sounds like another Jedi that recently got
May I
canonized
present
in
our Make Everything About Force Unleashed specialist?
Dude,
Actually.
No, I'm still so sad that like I don't know. Dave Filoni said it somewhere like in an interview that there was originally in Rebels, Jesse was supposed to be a part of that squad, and I was like, God damn it, Dave!
Did you?
Fuck you!
There was like
so
there was
pain.
actually I think someone made a concept art about that, and I think I saw it on Instagram at some point because there's like Clone-tober was in October, so like you saw like tons of like clone art. And I think one was like essentially like a post or like Rebels timeline Jesse, and it was like, oh yeah, like damn, that Venator trash was one hell of a thing. He was like his armor was like all crispy and cooked up, but he was all right. It was funny one. Yeah, maybe I'll find it and I'll share it with you guys later.
Yeah, definitely, that'd be awesome.
On the note of Kanan, that kind of ties it back to Tails. When he was in that room that Ahsoka was training in, I had a question. Was Tera Sinube's lightsaber blue, or was it white, but the ray shield was making it look blue when he tapped it on the...
I thought it was blue.
It was
It's blue. Yeah.
I have to go back and watch it, though.
I mean, you can go back in Clone Wars.
I want to say it was the ray shield that made it blue because his lightsaber is definitely white.
I couldn't tell. I just had to ask that,
Does he not ignite it in the Clone Wars episode?
He does. That's why.
Well, he taps it on the ratio, but he ignites it behind it. So I don't know if.
No. But he ignites it one time in Clone Wars. When Ahsoka gets her lightsaber stolen.
Yeah, he has a white one.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars he does? That Clone Wars episode he does?
His white when Ahsoka loses her lightsaber lost or whatever, when she's getting it back from that jumping species.
Is it white?
He is a white king.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
I'm going back right now.
A thing to remember about stuff like that is another thing that helps if it helps you get through stuff. Remember they had training sabers whenever they were working in there, not like lethal things and stuff like that.
But was Tera Sinube's a training saber?
Yeah, I mean,
He has the rank of
assuming everybody went in there had to have one just in case, some or arm or something Skywalker tradition, a hand or arm gets gone.
Let's just say
I don't know, man,
for
because
the-
she was cutting them droids in half. Those little balls.
Well, they're droids. No one cares about them.
let's just say for the sake of canon, it was blue because of the ray shield.
Oh, wait,
It was
I
blue
got it.
because of the ray shield.
R2 will come down here and he'll release the ray shields, and they'll give Terasinube a new lightsaber.
Dude, he's been popping up a lot though. He popped up in Kenobi. He was in a
Yeah, he
Clone
popped up
Wars.
dead in Kenobi.
Okay, so that's another thing. Were they dead in Kenobi, or were they just like
Yeah,
frozen?
they were dead.
Yeah, they were dead.
They were
They were
on
dead.
display as an art show.
Okay. I because I was like, I didn't know if they were like just frozen in the.
See, they
Fucking
trapped him in
Amber
Amber
or
so
whatever
they
it's
could
called.
create another franchise, another movie
Welcome.
franchise.
To Jedi Park. Da-na-na-na-na.
That's
Holy Sith
terrible.
deals an absolute.
Well, strike
I mean, I found it. I actually don't know either. I'd say it's like light
Let's
blue.
see if
It's
I can-
definitely not like that dark blue.
Oh,
But I
that's-
mean,
yeah.
it's on the verge of blue and white. I think we all get.
It's a
pass
it's a
on this
lilac.
one.
It's like
Yeah.
Luke's lightsaber in the first A New Hope before it was
Yeah.
even added. It's
Ah.
like
I think we
so
all.
white.
I think we
light
all
blue.
get a pass.
Yeah.
Training sabers. The-
Well,
What? Star Wars fans are coming to
Star Wars
Explosion and
fans that
agreeing?
go back in
What?
their shows and about a lightsaber of a character that ignites it for like 5 seconds. Okay, sounds normal.
Well, I think that's kind of all I had. Did any of you guys have anything else before we kind of wrap this up?
Tales of the Jedi, super awesome. I hope
Solid.
they do more. I think that was one of the main
Please.
things that I was talking about with people when season 7 was like clearly the wrapped up end for Clone Wars. Like, okay, but this doesn't mean we can't have any further shows in that art style. I mean, since then we've had Bad Batch, which super hyped. I want to see Delta Squad in season 2.
Dude, right? That's what I'm saying. Also,
like,
we need another game. Like, come on.
we do.
Like-
Imperial Commando, come on. Like, it's
I mean,
time.
the mechanics in that game are so great. Like, it just
Yep.
needs updated graphics, and you can even update the mechanics a little bit. But like,
Oh,
that
for
game
real.
was gold.
Yep. Absolutely. I think it's honestly, if not my favorite, one of my favorite like Star Wars games of all time, definitely. But yeah, like honestly, like I mean, the sky's the limit. Like use the art style, but like do other stories, do bounty hunters, do Sith, do whatever. Honestly, like do OT trilogy. Like there's
I'm
no
for it,
reason
man.
to not use it.
Yeah, that's like another thing that rubs me weird is the name Tales of the Jedi, not just taking it from the old comic book, Old Republic Tales of the Jedi or whatever. Just reuse the title. I don't really care that much. It's whatever. But
I'm
don't
gonna bring it up.
don't restrict it to just that, I mean, like what Strike
Yeah.
said, throw some other non-Jedi stuff in there that could be short worthy. It could just be called Star Wars Tales for all.
Well,
I
or
care.
even do
Yeah.
actual episodes. Like, I don't even see why it needs to be short. Like, I really
Yeah.
think that the way they did it with the Dooku arc, it worked really well. But they could have 100%
Yeah.
made an entire season about Dooku's turn, like
See, that's-
easily.
This is Jar Jar, okay?
Jar
This is
Jar
a-
Jar, man.
This is a
This
one-off.
is Jar Jar. This is
this
a
is a
character that
one-off
you're going
story.
to like.
It is just Star Wars Tales. And this is what the 1 through 24 issue comic book series was about. Telling random stories about whatever. This has Jar Jar and his dad almost commits suicide or something. I don't know.
Damn.
It's pretty dark. They show
that the-
cool stuff.
Is
He
that the one
jumped
where they're
above
lost
them
at
Imperial
sea?
grounds.
They're on the beach, and there's one where there's a Mace Windu one. There's a Nihilus one that's like he does a small role in that. Tales is awesome. There's one where Vader literally fights Maul.
Oh, dude, that one is
yeah,
It was 9.
No.
That
And he's
one.
like mocking him the whole time as a vision, dude. It's
That
he's
one
like,
was cool.
He's like, what could you hate more than me? Myself.
Myself.
Oh, just,
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying, though, man. It doesn't have to be Tales of the Jedi. It could just be Tales, and you can
Yeah.
throw in so much more content.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll just like have like once or like make their seasons of Tales of the Jedi and then just add new sub shows in Clone Wars animation style,
well, that's what I was
like
hoping
Tragedy
about
of the
with-
Sith or something.
with
you know?
Visions, because Visions
Ooh.
isn't canon. I want just like, why does
Labyrinth
everything
of
have to
Evil.
be
Okay.
canon? No,
Yeah.
Labyrinth of Evil. Labyrinth of Evil is good. Dude.
Labyrinth
but,
of
like,
Evil is the go.
I
Like
know.
Dark Lord, Labyrinth
That's
of
our
Evil
favorite.
is like.
I just want
my
an excuse
childhood
to
novel.
see Newt Gunray again. Okay.
Yeah. Two of them. No, I'm reading Brotherhood right now, and they're
dude,
going through.
how you like
It's
it so far?
okay. So the pacing's a little weird. I'm like towards the end of it, but I really like. There's like some moments I wanted to bring up. Actually, this will be another thing. When we're talking about like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how like Obi-Wan kind of wasn't what Anakin needed, and he
Bygones will be bygones.
no, but he reflects on that like in like they're like in like a control room towards the end, and they're like hacking the mainframe or whatever they're doing in the thing. But Obi-Wan's like reflecting about like, oh, is this how like Qui-Gon felt with me, and like am I doing the right things with Anakin and stuff like that, and like should I take more of like a Qui-Gon approach to it, or should I take like more of like the Jedi philosophy approach with it? And he was like, what is this feeling that I'm feeling? And it's like regret and stuff like he like feels. It's like really cool like that. You get like these little snippets. That's really what I like about Brotherhood is overall the book is like I feel kind of like it's okay, but you get like these snippets like in the book where it's like stuff like that really fills in those gaps, and it really bonds like Obi-Wan, literally Brotherhood. That's why they call it Brotherhood. Like it bonds Obi-Wan and Anakin together.
Sometimes little stuff like that can carry an entire project.
Yeah.
You can take an episode of something that was completely trash in your opinion, but you like something small about it that just made everything else shield away, and you like that's what you're there for.
Yeah, and that was so cool, and like that, it was cool because like they literally built a book around like one line in the movies. You know, he's like that business on Cato Nemoidia doesn't count, and like literally the whole book's about him going to Cato Nemoidia and like seeing Ventress and all that stuff. And that's before he even knew Ventress was like a Sith and all. Like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Love that book.
But I think that's it. I mean, we're almost at an hour. We were talking, we were all over the place, and it was great, dude. These are great. I love these type of podcasts where they're just like all over the place. Like we'll go here, then we'll go there. Like it's so interesting.
I mean, but let's be honest. I mean, with a bunch of Star Wars fans on one panel talking about one topic, it is only natural. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Honestly, I look forward to it. These are like my favorite types when they're like they just go in different directions, and I hope to have all you guys back on for more. We're gonna do I got a whole bunch of stuff planned, so we're gonna have a lot more in the future. But you guys have anything else, or are you guys good?
I'm
good.
I'm satisfied.
With that, thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Take it easy.